guys, if you're new to Deception Bytes, hit the like and subscribe button and be sure to hit the bell to be notified of future videos. If you wish to support the channel, the links are in the description below. Now, fasten your seatbelt. Here we go. Okay guys, I'm back and it is Tuesday, June 25th, and it is 8:59 p.m. I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, wait a minute, you said you were going to try to be earlier. Well, yes, I did try to be earlier, but Sammy had different idea. So this is actually my second video, but it is the only video you'll see because Sammy just about chewed through the wire to my webcam and had gone through the camera several times, knocked the camera over, hit the microphone, and it was just, well, all hell broke loose, literally. And I think I may take a look at that video later just so that I can laugh, because that's all you can do. You just laugh and you go on. So it's taken me a while to fix it. I thought for sure that my webcam was toasted, but it's not. And here he is again. So I've got my trusty, yes, and away he goes. That is Acme Cat Be Gone. All right. So I didn't post last night, and every once in a while, I just need to be selfish and take a night to myself. I feel much better for it. I feel more rested and I feel much more able to tackle the news of the day. So let's get started. Now we don't have any Q related, or we don't have any Q posts, but we do have plenty of Q news and we're going to get all right up in it in a minute. So let's go over there now. I also want to say before I get started, and I know some of you are like, shut up, just shut up and get to the news. But other people say, no, chat away, chat away. So here we go. I'm going to chat for a second, but you can fast forward to get to the news. All right. I said to my mother yesterday, I said, Mom, you know what? I'm really disappointed in you. And she said, what? What did I do? And I said, well, I'm just, I don't know how to say this, but I'm really, really disappointed in you. She said, I don't understand. Have I done something? And I said, yes. I never knew that you were racist. And she said, racist? Why, I'm not racist. And I said, well, I think you are. And I think you don't like Sammy because he's black. That's what I think. And she said, oh. Anyway, and then I said, well, you know, now Sammy will probably need a little playmate. Maybe it'll keep him out of trouble, or maybe I'll just have twice the trouble. But I'm going to have to get a black cat, another black cat. Mom said, well, why would you have to get another black cat? And I said, well, because you know what they say. Once you go black, you can't go back. So there you go. I'm stuck with black cats now forever. But I'm not a cat racist, though. I love Sammy. All right. Let's get into the news, shall we? And I also want to say as well that thank you to you guys that keep me going, that have joined Patreon. Some of you give $1 a month. That's wonderful because a bunch of people give $1 and it counts up. So I don't discount that at all. I'm very grateful for whatever. And I also realize that some of you are on a fixed income, and I never want you guys to feel obligated in any sense. I know, you know, that there are people that just can't. They're having a hard time making it ends meet as it is. And that's fine. But I do appreciate the odd coffee for those of you that can do it. It does keep me producing this content, and it kind of compensates me, not totally, but in part for the time that I spend doing this. And it is quite time consuming, and it's about to get even more time consuming because I am going to start posting on the second channel as well. I want to get that built up so that if anything happens to this, I still have another channel and a place where you can go to find me. So that's what I'm going to be working on in the next little while. But in the meantime, I'm going to get to the news. All right, let's get started. I feel like I've been here before. Could be because I've already recorded this video once. Let's hope that Sammy behaves himself so that I can record this one. All right, but I've got this now. Yeah, doesn't like that. Okay, let's get into it. Now, this shouldn't be news to anybody, really, what I'm going to say here and what I'm going to read to you. Nancy Pelosi prefers border chaos. And we know that all the Democrats prefer border chaos. Why? Why do they prefer that? Well, because then they can blame Donald Trump, right? They want to have something that they can keep before the mainstream media and keep before people all the time, so that they think that Donald Trump is just horrible. He's got children in cages, and he's just doing all these nasty, horrible things. Well, let's look here. Apprehensions of illegal immigrants at the southern border are rising. March and April each saw more than 100,000 apprehensions, and in May, the number spiked to nearly 145,000. It's bad enough that the congressional Democrats refuse to fund additional border security, in many cases flipping 180 degrees from their position on border security in just the past few years. This can be explained, though, by their unyielding hatred for President Trump. But Democrats claim to care about the migrants who are entering the country in record numbers. Well, they don't. So what explains the complete lack of action by the Democratic majority in the House of Representatives on the reasonable $4.5 billion request for humanitarian aid that the Trump administration made many months ago, and that the Democrats say they were going to grant, but haven't? They're still withholding it. And you're thinking, well, they don't want the wall. Well, this wasn't for the wall. It wasn't for the wall. This explains it. This is not funding for the border wall. It would allow the government to process individuals more quickly and house them in 3 new 500-bed migrant processing facilities. The $4.5 billion is separated into $3.4 billion for humanitarian assistance and $1.1 billion for border operations. It's a reasonable request. It's more than reasonable. But not to them. And so they are still withholding this, but now they are upping the rhetoric about, the poor migrant children being torn away from their parents and caged like animals. Well, number one, nobody forced anybody to come to the border. They came here of their own volition. They came here illegally. They're in our country illegally. And if there is a problem with overcrowding, whose problem is it? It's their problem. They came voluntarily. They knew what they were getting into. Nobody put a gun to their head. I'm just saying. And now Trump wants to give aid, and he's prevented by the Democrats, and yet they've got their ugly mugs in front of the media 24/7 saying what an awful man, orange man bad. That's it. That's the whole summation of their message and their platform. Orange man bad. That's it. Yeah. And we are paying their salaries for nothing because they've done nothing for the last 2 years. Nothing. They are all they care about is obstructing Trump. That's it. That's it. That's it. That's what they live for. Unbelievable. And yet we're seeing it happen every single day. Now, this is interesting as well. This from Cat Turd, and we love us some Cat Turd here. Well, looky here. Trump's latest fake accuser, E. Jean Carroll, in 2006 with Lisa Bloom, who was caught in 2016 paying off several Trump accusers. Now, that's not, he's saying this in a little bit of an ambiguous way, because it makes it sound like she was paying them off on behalf of Trump or whatever because they were abused and she was giving them. No, these women were paid to lie about being molested or whatever by Trump. Yeah. So this is Lisa Bloom, and she is the daughter of Gloria Allred, and she was caught in 2016 paying these women to lie about Trump. And here she is with E. Jean Carroll. Wow, well, isn't that something? And Stonewall Jackson replies and says, and in case you forgot, I'll remind you, Lisa Bloom, daughter of Gloria Allred, was exposed during the 2016 election, bribing women to accuse Trump. We have her emails that show the offer getting bigger the closer to the election. She even wrote, we're running out of time. Yeah, we believe E. Jean Carroll, don't we? No, we don't. She is not credible in the least, and the more I hear and read about her, the less credible she seems. And we do have somewhere down the line here, we have a little video of her that I think that you'll find interesting. Anyway, now I don't know what this was, and I didn't have a chance to follow up on this, but do any of you guys know what this was about? It says flights at DFW Airport, Dallas Love Field, suspended due to communications issue with radar control. Now, this was last night, I do believe. Do any of you know anything about this? You guys that are close to there may have heard, or it may have been on the news again today. I'm not sure. But I found that interesting. I didn't know enough about it to find it suspicious yet, but makes me wonder what was going on there. All right, and let's look at this. No, really, let's. Well, it would help if I actually clicked on it. Oh, no, I bet I didn't. Hang on here. I'm not one to be defeated. That'd be painful, wouldn't it, to be defeated? Have no feet, just kind of walk around on tripods, I guess. I don't know, it'd be painful. All right, let's see if I can bring this up here. Yes, I can. All right, Joe Biden caught buying fake bot accounts. Well, gee, wonder what he needs those for. Well, let's listen, shall we?
Fake news. Joe Biden and buying likes and retweets and all of that stuff. So we're here at Joe Biden's Twitter account. We're going to go to his statement about fake news. Right? And then when we go down here, we can see 6,000 likes and 1,000 retweets, which already should be putting up red flags. And then when we go to his actual page, we can go down here. We'll go to the first couple of ones. And Kelly. So, you see this? This is a fake account. We've been since 2017. Looks like it was made a year after. Never tweeted, never done anything. So let's go to, we'll go back to his fake news post, and they come up because they obviously have this farm running. Let's see what we got here. Again, boom, fake account. Now, I went through here last night and did this thousands of times. So it is now completely obvious that they're just running the same server farm that they were running in 2016. So let's go through here. Like I said, some of them, you can go and they've got the account all the way set up. Some of them are real people. But then you've got, literally thousands that they've bought that are 100%. They don't even have their picture set up yet. They literally have just made these accounts. And if you guys go through there, you can see there are thousands of these accounts. Now, I'm sure he's going to get on there and say, oh, somebody bought them and I have no idea who did it. But look, man, you're caught, right? Bernie Tulsi's support is 100% grassroots. Yours is, again, bought by millionaires, corruption in the DNC. So I'm going to post this video. You guys can like it, share it out. But look, there's the truth, guys. You can see all of his tweets, every single one of them has got these, 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 5,000 on one that we did a quick search like the other day of complete.
Yeah, and there's no way that Sleepy Joe Biden, the man is about as exciting as watching hair grow. I don't know. In fact, I think watching hair grow might be a little bit more exciting, depending on whose hair you are watching grow. But yeah, he is, I mean, he puts me right to sleep. And I mean, the man is not smart. Anyone that goes around molesting children right out in front of everybody is not too bright, really. Unbelievable. And anybody knows that he wouldn't get that many likes. I mean, what, he has like 16 people show up when he has a rally. Woo, some rally. Yeah, like 16 or like 20 people show up. Like, unbelievable. And he thinks he's going to win. And they actually have the polls where he's ahead of Trump, who could sell out any auditorium, any sports arena, anywhere. He could sell it out. But yeah, they want us to believe that Joe Biden is a threat. Right. Probably Hillary, probably all of them are doing this. And it might be something to check on. And I may do that when I have a little spare time. Just take one of them and go through their tweets and see who's responding to them. Yeah, that might be very interesting. Interesting indeed. All right, let's go back now because there's more. Yes, there's more. Really, more. Okay, now here's something. It happened in Toronto, but it is related. It's related to this whole mess and shebang. Child porn bust operation was sophisticated, massive. Yeah, I just wonder when it's all going to come back. You know, I really hope that they get Justin Trudeau. I really do. He's as big a criminal as any of them. A veteran child porn investigator says the operation cops smashed this week was breathtaking in its scope. OPP investigators arrested 5 men who allegedly were involved with a web hosting company that was home base for a vile Vietnamese child pornography operation. Cops called it Big Box Store filled with really, really horrific child pornography. And, you know, when they say it's really, really horrific, I think that there's stuff that I don't even want to know. I don't even want somebody to describe it to me because I don't want it in my head. Seriously. Some stuff that I've looked into, I just wish I hadn't because it just keeps me up. I can't imagine putting a child through that. Anyway, the operation housed in a nondescript North York office building, and North York is, just north of Toronto. It's a bedroom community of Toronto. Hosted the child porn website that had 60,000 registered users in 116 countries. The Sicko's servers contained 19,000 child pornography files that had been downloaded 19 million times. And you know those people were probably sharing it with other people as well. That's what they do. And it's Project Greenwell Black Health. And these are the countries that it serviced, which is just about the whole world. It looks so even up into Russia. There was 32 servers, combined capacity of 934 terabytes. That's a lot. Registered users, 59,995. Total users identified, 11,910. That's pretty good. I mean, it's only 1 in 6, but still. Canada, 331. United States, 2,027. Europol, 3,806, and other 5,746. Total number of countries affected, 116. Total number of uploaded child pornography files, 395,994. Wow. That's incredible. So, and it crosses the border. So, probably the U.S. was involved in this, in bringing them down as well. Looking at the server banks, this would have taken a huge length of time to set up, let alone creating the database of images and videos that were offered, Keith Daniels told the Toronto Sun from his Florida home. Daniels was one of the pioneers of child pornography investigations, starting with the Ottawa police before setting up task forces around the U.S. In his day, detectives would not have been able to get their heads around an operation of this magnitude. Thank God we didn't get one like this. We would never be able to handle it. Even with all the investigators put together in Canada, he said, the takedown and forensics would have taken years. The number of suspects arrested in Canada as a result of the investigation and a sister probe was 331. Daniels called the number huge. It indicates that the problem is still becoming more pervasive, he said. An analysis of victimology will not only take years, but will likely never get done. So, can you imagine trying to find out who all these children are? Seriously, the magnitude of that is staggering. While the veteran detective said the volume of potential information is huge, a PhD thesis from this would require millions of dollars, but it would also produce some valuable insight into preferences, he added. In some respects, the pornographers and their enablers were sophisticated in their distribution. They were also sloppy. Another law enforcement source told The Sun it appeared detectives in the probe began working backward and snagged the child porn enthusiast credit card information. Once you have that, you can identify suspects and often victims from around the world, the source said. The Toronto area suspects arrested last week were all affiliated in one way or another with a web hosting company called Yes Up Media. Cops believe the men knew violent child pornography was nestled in the depths of their servers but didn't care. It's believed they were engaged by a Vietnamese web administrator named Vin Van not sure how to pronounce that last name, 35, to host the sickening videos and images. Investigators say the arrest marked the first time in Canada that charges have been laid against those associated with web hosting companies. All right, so yes, and a Canada-wide warrant has been issued for the website's suspected owner, who is on the run in Vietnam. The Toronto area men are back in court August 1st. Yeah, that was my cat fleeing the mere thought of getting sprayed. Well, you know what, Sammy? If you weren't chewing through my wires, you could come up here and lay down. But you can't. And now you're up again. See, you don't learn. He's a handful, I'm telling you. But I love him. I love him. Okay, let's go back now. And let's go to the next item, which would be this. Yes, this. All right. Must read Ilhan Omar thread. The Star Tribune ran a dishonest, cowardly piece of journalism tonight. For 3 years, the paper ignored the work of reporters Preya Samsunder, Scott Johnson, and myself on Ilhan Omar's Minnesota's disturbing past. Ignored our emails offering new evidence. Now, Ilhan Omar is a national disgrace. Globally, anti-Semites are emboldened. We warned them. None of this would have happened if Star Tribune, afraid of a PC mob, had not withheld the facts from local voters. Covering their tracks tonight at Star Tribune, published a piece duplicating work we had already done. Our leads, our research, did they credit us? No. We are just unnamed conservative activists. We are not activists. We are reporters. They are frauds. They owe us, Minnesota voters and the global Jewish community, an apology. I would agree. Additionally, that article failed to confirm or even mention far more of our work, despite us being able to confirm all that we published. Please read our work, not theirs. All of our articles are linked in this thread. the Star Tribune also inexplicably failed to put two facts together on a bombshell development mentioned in their article. Star Tribune appears to have been deliberately vague. I can only surmise the paper is still covering for Omar. They write social media posts indicate Ahmed Nur Saad Elmi is in Africa. They also write Ilhan's sister, Sarah Noor, currently runs her own healthcare consultancy in Kenya, but Elmi's post and Noor's company are clear about a specific location. Elmi's posts show he has lived in Nairobi, Kenya since between 12/21/18 and 1/14/19, and Noor's company is clearly located in Nairobi, not just somewhere in Kenya. Further, is provable that Elmi has been working for Noor, apparently helping out with her company website. Look for yourself. Now, this is all about Ilhan Omar saying, you know, this man that she was allegedly married to, that was her brother, is working with her sister in Nairobi, Kenya. And she testified under oath that she didn't have any idea where he was. Isn't that interesting? Yes, it is, because she is a liar, and the sooner that they get her out, the better. She's clearly anti-American. Clearly. All right. Now, let's go on. Okay, I had to read this because, you know, the last video was about the crotchety crocheters, and Ms. Deputy Dog wrote this response in the comments, and I laughed so hard. These crotchety crocheters crochet with hate. I like my crochet items made with love in every stitch. Therefore, they can stick their crochet needles up where the sun doesn't shine, and I hope it hurts. They crochet with hate. I like my crochet items made with love. Yeah, I thought that was priceless. So had to share it with you all. Some of you probably saw it, but some of you maybe didn't. Okay, I'm not going to read this because it's from the Time, and I don't really trust Time, so I'm not going to read it. So there, and you can't make me. No, you can't. All right, but let's look at this, because this is very important to all of us. Shocking before and after photos reveal awful truth about widespread U.S. crop failures in 2019. And this isn't, you know, the U.S. isn't the only country experiencing crop failure. It's happening all over the world simultaneously, which does not bode well for us. I'm telling you, if you have a little bit of extra money, when you go to the stores, or if you coupon, you can sometimes get, you know, buy one, get one free, whatever. Try to get stocked up, because next year's not going to be pretty. The prices are going to go higher, and so the more food you have put away, the better it'll be. Just make sure that you've got an expiration date that's far out, and get things like tuna and peanut butter. These are really good sources of protein, and they're cheap sources of protein. All right, torrential rains have been hammering the heartland of America for months, and at this point, vast stretches of farmland in the middle of the country are nothing but mud. As a result of the endless rain and unprecedented flooding that we have witnessed, millions of acres of farmland will have nothing planted on them at all in 2019, and that is a major national crisis. But most farmers were able to get seeds planted in the deplorable conditions, and now they are desperately hoping that something will actually grow. Unfortunately, on farm after farm, what is coming out of the ground looks absolutely terrible. Even if we get ideal weather conditions for the rest of the summer, there's no way that many of these fields will be ready before the first hard frost arrives. As you will see below, the truth is that we are potentially facing the most widespread crop failures in all of U.S. history. This is serious, and they are not talking about it on the mainstream media. Why? Why do they not want you prepared? Why? It does not take a brain surgeon to figure this out, that if they're not getting the crops in the ground, or if they are getting the crops in the ground, but the crops are meager and they're not going to be able to be harvested until the first hard frost, or by the time that the first hard frost comes, there's a problem. There's a huge problem. It's happening everywhere. Where are we going to get our food? You know, and everybody just automatically assumes, well, we've always had food. We'll always have food. No, you know, people literally starved to death during the Depression. They literally starved to death. Some Americans did, especially those in cities. And I know, hearing stories from my grandparents, my grandparents, that their farm was very close to here. I know they used to have what they called hobos. They used to call them hobos, and they would ride the rails, and they would just go from town to town looking for work on the farms. And I know my grandparents always let them sleep in the barn. You know, these are strangers. You're not going to, you know, allow huge mass amounts of strangers into your home, but they did have them work in the fields, and they did feed them very, very well and provided whatever they could for them, because it was the people that had the farms that were, you know, most of them could live on what they produced, and my grandparents were no different. But yeah, you know, hearing the stories, and they'd have people, they wouldn't even throw away like a tin pot. They'd have people that came around, and that was what their job was, is to fix any tin pots or metal that you had. You fixed everything. You threw nothing away. And that's how I grew up. I mean, all the clothes, they never threw clothes away. They you know, cut it up, and my grandmother made quilts out of it, patchwork quilts out of it. Everything had a purpose. Absolutely everything had a purpose. Nothing was thrown away. And so, yeah, I mean, you talk to some people back then and see what it was like back then, and we're facing a much bigger crisis because we don't have the farmers. You know, the big corporations have come out and bought out a lot of the family farms. So we've got a whole less people, you know, farming, and most of the farms are industrial sized farms. We still do have in this area a few family farms, but they're quickly disappearing. So anyway, this is the biggest news story in America so far this year, and the mainstream media is finally starting to understand the gravity of what we are facing. Just consider the following quote from a recent Quartz article. The stories across the Midwest are wrenching. Scrolling through the No Plant 19 hashtag turns up dozens of posts about farmers starting out at soggy fields or farm equipment floundering in deep mud. It's likely many will see their harvest devastated this year, and global grain prices could spike. But of course, a picture is worth 1,000 words, and so let me share a before and after photo that a farming couple in Indiana named Kyle and Tori Klein recently shared on Facebook. So this is a year ago to the day. This is their corn, okay? And it's right up past his head, just past his head. And here is the corn today. What's this family going to live on? You know, is the corn going to be able to be harvested in time? Is it even going to produce any corn? I mean, this is huge. I mean, not only is this family going to be hurting because that's their livelihood, but all the families that depend on that corn are going to be hurting too. According to Tori, the corn was almost above Kyle's head at this time last year, but today it is barely out of the ground. These two pictures speak volumes to the crisis American farmers are facing this spring. Kyle is about 6'3", and the corn was nearly above his head. Most corn around our area is lucky to be out of the ground, let alone knee-high. It's just some food for thought for those who think farmers are rich or greedy or what have you. It's the reason food and gas prices will be getting higher as the summer goes on. I pray for those who didn't or still haven't gotten their crops in. For their safety and mental health, this year will be one to remember. And, you know, I don't know, maybe none of you had farmers in your family, but as someone that did, I know they depend on these crops. And it's, what are we going to do? Because, you know, this is how stupid that some, you know, not just Americans, I mean, it's just people in general have been so dumbed down. They think, well, where will you get your where will we get our groceries? Well, from the grocery store. Really, really. There are people that if you ask them that, that's what they'll say. Well, from the grocery store. Okay. Well, we'll see how that works out for you. Yeah. So, it's a good time. Like, start now when you don't need it, and just every now and then pick up an. I know a lot of you are on fixed incomes. You are retired, and you have, you're on a fixed pension. Well, buy something. Instead of spending it on something you don't need, pick up an extra thing of peanut butter. Pick up an extra couple tins of. Salmon or tuna or what have you. There's a lot of sources of cheap protein out there. Beans and rice is another. I'm sorry. He shakes the table when he gets up here, but it's better than having him eat through the webcam. Let me make sure that the webcam is still working. Yay! Yippee! It kept shorting out before, so I must have fixed it. All right, let's go on. How now? Oh, wait. Did I finish that? I don't know. I'm just all discombobulated. Sammy gets me crazy, man. Crazy. Okay, do you think corn is going to be ready when harvest time rolls around? And of course, the clients are far from alone. All over the nation, farmers are facing either dramatically reduced yields or no harvest at all. Now, look at this. You think that corn's going to be okay to eat? I'm thinking not. And so here, Peter Bergkamp says, accurate picture of how the spring of 2019 has been so far. Yes, that is a turtle swimming in the corn. And he would be referring to this right here. A turtle swimming in your corn. I like my corn with turtle, thank you. Well, you could eat the turtle. I think you can eat almost all turtles. I'm not sure. All right, let me share 4 more extremely disturbing before and after photos that were recently posted to Facebook by T.D. Hale. Indiana, June 11th, 2018. And you can see the corn is up and hearty. And June 9th, 2019. And what the heck is that? Scrawny corn that does not look healthy at all. Not looking good, people. This is Nebraska, June 10th, 2018. Look at this corn. It's all up and healthy. And look at here, June 9th, 2019. Not so much. Do you know how much stuff is made out of corn and wheat? A lot. And it's not just corn and wheat that are suffering. It's a lot. It's oats. Oats are in a lot. Seriously, not looking good, people. This is let's look at this. This is what? This is Kansas. Well, Kansas doesn't look very good. Year apart. There's Illinois again. So this is, this isn't just one location or 2 locations. This is huge swaths of land. We have never seen anything like this before. Now that you have seen these pictures, are you starting to understand why so many of us have been warning that U.S. agricultural production is going to be way, way down this year? Corn is not supposed to grow in mud, but due to the horrific weather conditions, many farmers in the middle of the country had absolutely no choice in the matter. For example, corn farmer Scott Labig confessed that he was ashamed of what the nightmarish weather conditions forced him to do. Labig was doing something he had never done in his career, something his father and his grandmother never did either in their time working the same land for the last century. I'm ashamed of how I am planting corn today, Labig told Campbell on the phone. This is terrible. He was putting seeds into mud. How can things actually grow in this mess? Yeah, how can they? If you do not live in the middle of the country, you may have a difficult time grasping the true scope of what we are potentially facing. If farmers do not grow our food, we do not eat. This is not a drill, and widespread crop failures are going to have dramatic implications for all of us in the months ahead. Food prices are going much higher, and I urge you to get prepared while you still can. According to John Newton, the chief economist at the American Farm Bureau Federation, we have never faced anything like this since I've been working in agriculture. We are truly in an unprecedented territory already, and it won't take much at all to turn 2019 into a complete and utter national catastrophe. If the weather is absolutely perfect for the next few months, 2019 will still be a horrible year for farmers in the middle of the country. But if the rain doesn't stop, or if there is too much heat, or if a very early frost happens, we could be facing a national nightmare that is beyond what most of us would even dare to imagine. And guess what? Over the weekend, the middle of the country was pounded by even more severe storms. Hundreds of people were without power in Missouri and Kansas. On Sunday, as storms ripped through the area, prompting officials to warn drivers to remain off the roads as flash flood warnings were in effect. Until 8:45 a.m. Central Time, a flash flood warning was in effect in Missouri's Trenton, Bethany, and Gallatin cities, according to National Weather Service, while such warnings were in effect until 8:30 a.m. Central Time in St. Joseph, Atchison, and Savannah. Just when you think that the crisis cannot possibly get any worse, it does. Please share this article with your family and friends and those that you care about. And yes, please do be sharing this with people. You don't have to share this video, but talk to them about it. Tell them what is happening. They're not going to hear it from the mainstream news. They're not. And they can look this stuff up very easily on their own. So, yeah, not looking good. So make sure. And the thing is, too, these crops feed animals as well. The corn feeds the cows and so forth. I mean, the oats feed the cows, the horses, whatever. Not that we eat horses. Well, I guess some people do, but I don't want to know about it. So anyway, I want you guys, I want to get this out, and I know that I'm dwelling on it, but I want to get this out because I want at least you guys that listen to this channel to be prepared, because you're not going to hear it. And there's not a lot of people talking about it. Even in alternative media, there's not a lot of people talking about it. So anyway, let's go to this. Google whistleblower bombshell. Search engine used social justice warriors to train its AI systems to suppress all conservative views and block another Trump from happening. Yeah, they did. And Project Veritas did a wonderful job undercover. But of course, anybody that talks about that and their videos and everything have been taken off of social media and so forth. It's being censored. The very fact of it, which is funny because it's about censorship and it's being censored. So anyway, let's read this. Sorry. In yet another bombshell report from Project Veritas and James O'Keefe, a Google whistleblower has come forth with damning information that reveals how Google uses social justice warriors to train its AI system to suppress all conservative, independent views on literally everything. According to documents acquired by Project Veritas, Google's goal is to establish a single point of truth for definition of news across Google products. That means all non-establishment, non-progressive views are being systematically silenced by Google, YouTube, and all other Google products. The whistleblower who worked at Google says, see the full video below. They're not an objective source of information. They are a highly biased political machine that is bent on never letting somebody like Donald Trump come to power again. Fairness is a dog whistle, he explains. They have to manipulate their search results so that it gives them the political agenda they want. They have to rebias their algorithms so they can get their agenda across. Google News, or Natural News, has been blacklisted by YouTube since March of 2018 and banned by Google since June of 2017. We have been calling Google a techno-fascist dictatorship for at least 3 years. Today, whistleblowers proved us right yet again. More Google whistleblowers are coming forward to reveal the shocking truth about Google's blatant fraud, dishonesty, and election meddling, according to InfoWars, which has been blacklisted across all Google products. Google, and the thing is, it doesn't matter if you agree with Alex Jones or not. The point is, he's being censored. And if he's censored, we also are censored. you may not agree with him, but, I defend his right to not be censored for what he believes is right. Now, some of it's good. I just don't know how much of a disinformation agent he is, or if he's controlled opposition. I don't know. I know he's done some very good work that we would never have known about otherwise. Anyway, Google is clear and present danger to our democracy, and it is abusing its power to alter the outcome of all future elections while suppressing important independent journalism and speech. Google must be stopped. The report includes undercover footage featuring a top Google executive, Jen Janai, I think, discussing how Google might prevent an electoral outcome like 2016 from happening again, says Breitbart.com. Janai also declared that no amount of soft pressure from Congress or the White House will make Google change its ways. In other words, talk won't help. If politicians want to change Google's behavior, they'll have to go beyond committee hearings and actually change the law. So, and the project is out there. You can find it on projectveritas.com, projectveritas.com. And you can see that video. If I play it here, this will be banned, and I may lose my channel, because that's what it's come to. And it says, update, not surprisingly, Google censored the video exposing Google censorship. The video is now available on Brighton.com as well as from Project Veritas website. So there you go. Yeah, I mean, we know it's happening, but to actually see somebody undercover and an executive admitting, yeah, this is what we're doing. We want to prevent another Trump. This is what we're doing. That's quite another thing, Anyway, all right, let's go back and see what other trouble we can get into. Now, I'm sorry to do this to your eyes, really, I am. So, I'm just, you with sensitive, if you've just eaten or you've got a very sensitive stomach, you might not want to look at this because once you see it, you can't unsee it. So I'm just warning you in advance, but I'm going to show you the editor that says Melania, well, let's just read it, shall we? And I think once you look at her, I think you'll see what I'm trying to point out to you here. So let's take a look, shall we? Again, I apologize, really, I do. But here she is, Cassandra Pounces. Here's the Vogue editor who claims First Lady Melania Trump is a fashion disaster. I'll just let that sink in a minute. Yeah, Melania Trump, probably, if not the most beautiful woman in the world, she's surely in the top 5. And she dresses impeccably. Everyone says so. It's quite evident that she has brought class and beauty and dignity back to the office of the First Lady. And here is this woman. What the heck is going on with her lipstick? Seriously. And who puts blush under their eyes? No one. That's who. Maybe she thinks it's edgy. I just think it's plain weird. And the hair, bowl cut. Really, it's a classic bowl cut. And it's Howdy Doody red. Howdy Doody red. And she has no eyebrows. She has shaved off her eyebrows with no mascara, no eye makeup, just 2 red blotches under her eyes. Yeah, she calls Melania Trump a fashion disaster. She's the editor of Vogue. Wow, I don't know. I don't know. Oh, I need bleach for my eyes, man. Bleach. Okay. Let me see here because there's some things I want to get to and time's a ticking. This is interesting. I wanted to get this to you too. This from 72 Seconds. Joe M said, on July 4th, it will be 40 days since Q's last post. So if he doesn't post until July 4th, it'll be 40 days with no Q post. It will also be 5 weeks and 5 days. And you know, Q is always saying 5-5, meaning I hear you loud and clear. Just interesting. And Joe says, just saying. And 72 Seconds says, Roger that. So that's interesting. Yeah, and this is another thing about Ilhan, because this goes into it a little bit more in detail, and I'm not going to belabor this, but I am going to just say she lied. Ilhan Omar's estranged husband and brother is located in Kenya working for her sister. But she doesn't know where she is. She has no idea. Democrat Congresswoman Ilhan Omar refuses to satisfactorily answer questions about her marriage to a man who appears to be her own brother. In early June, Representative Ilhan Omar was ordered to pay a $500 civil fine for violating campaign finance law. Omar had to pay an additional $3,469 fine for improperly used campaign funds. But the investigation into Ilhan Omar and the findings released by the Minnesota Campaign Finance and Public Disclosure Board revealed something even more serious. It appears Ilhan Omar may have filed fraudulent federal and state tax returns. In 2017, Representative Omar swore under penalty of perjury while divorcing her brother, that she hadn't seen Ahmed N. Elmi since 2011 and didn't know anyone who could help her contact him. Well, maybe she should have asked her own sister, Yeah. But as Christina Layla reported on Monday, it appears Ilhan Omar perjured herself. Hidden code on a website, however, shows that Ahmed E. Elmi actually designed and set up a website for Ilhan Omar's sister this year and is living in Nairobi, Kenya, the same city Omar's sister, Sarah Noor, lives and works in. The hidden source code was first reported by investigative journalist David Steinberg. There is no reasonable explanation for this code to exist besides Elmi working for Noor, Ilhan Omar's sister, David Steinberg said, and that's a bombshell. In 2017, Ilhan Omar swore under penalty of perjury while divorcing Elmi that she had zero contact with him since 2011 and no clue how to find him. Well, Ilhan. Yes. Just should have asked your sister where your brother was. Yeah. This is just, I don't know. I don't even know how to comment on some of this stuff. It's just so out there. So, I wanted to find something else. Because let's see, this might be it. I don't know. Let's try this. No, really, let's. Oh, dang it. Why do you hate me? Okay, we can do this. We can find it.
You don't feel like a victim.
I was not thrown on the ground and wrapped.
Now, this is you gotta see this. If you haven't seen this, you gotta see this because you're not gonna believe it. And even, what's his face? Anderson Cooper. Even he looked really uncomfortable and went to a break. So let's play this, shall we?
You don't feel like a victim.
I was not thrown on the ground and ravished.
Oh, and by the way, I want to tell you, does she not remind you of Nancy Pelosi in some ways? Just the way she talks and everything. She reminds me of Nancy Pelosi, so I don't know. But anyway, let's.
You don't feel like a victim.
I was not thrown on the ground and ravished. Which, the word rape carries so many sexual connotations. This was not sexual. It hurt. It just,
But I think most people think of rape it is a violent assault. It is not.
I think most people think of rape as being sexy.
Let's take a short break.
Think of the fantasies.
Mm-hmm. We're just going to take a quick break. If you can stick around, we'll talk more on the other side.
You're fascinating to talk to.
Yeah, and in another one, she said, yeah, it was so horrible that I've never had sex since. Wow, that must have been really bad. I mean, I guess she's never been married or anything. I don't know. She never had a boyfriend. I don't know. She's just never had sex again. So, yeah. And you can tell she comes across as a raving lunatic. Like, she says, oh, I think most people think rape is sexy. Who? What kind of people are you around that think rape is sexy? Are you kidding me? Wow. So, oh, and also she refuses. Remember, she said she kept the dress, you know, a la Lewinsky. You know, how Lewinsky, that was the downfall of Clinton because they found his DNA on her dress. Well, she claims that she's kept the dress all these years. Well, why wouldn't she allow it to be tested? Because they offered to test it and she's refused. Gee, I wonder why. Why would you? If you knew that he had ejaculated and his DNA was on that dress, would you not want it to be tested? Especially since there's been such, you know, strides made in the science of that, of DNA testing. They could have found his DNA if it was there, which clearly it isn't. Because if that was me, I would be wanting people to believe me. So I would be like, yes, please test the dress. You'll see I'm telling the truth. But no, she says, oh no, I don't want them to test the dress. Why? She is cuckoo. And this from Cat Turd. LOL. New York Post removes story about E. Jean Carroll's sex assault claim against Trump. Anyone who listened to her CNN interview now realizes she's mentally insane. And, you know, she was flirting with Anderson Cooper, who, isn't he, I think he's married, isn't he, to a guy? Or at least I know that he's gay. And she's like, oh, you're fascinating to talk to. Yeah, who says that when they're being interviewed? Like, no, seriously, who says that? No one, that's who. Okay, oh yes, well, here we are. Here's the yeah, okay, well, I know it's getting late, but I still have to bring this to you. So, Trump accuser E. Jean Carroll won't agree to let the New York Police Department investigate her dress for DNA evidence when asked by CNN. That's probably why the New York Post removed the accusation, because they don't want to be made fools of, and clearly they are being made fools of by even, you know, letting her bend their ear. It's ridiculous. E. Jean Carroll has claimed that she did not wash the dress she was wearing after being raped by President Donald Trump in the 1990s, but will not allow the NYPD to test it for DNA and prove her outlandish tale. The 75-year-old writer was asked by CNN anchor Alison Camerata if the dress could contain evidence of the allegations, causing the elderly writer to clam up. I have no idea. I do not know if the president ejaculated. I have no idea, Carroll responded. Well, first of all, he wasn't the president then. And second of all, I think you'd know. Really? Like, really? What is this woman on? When informed there is no longer a statute of limitations on rape cases and that the New York Police Department had said they will investigate if she wishes to bring a case forward, Carroll wasn't too keen on the idea. Gee, I wonder why. I don't even know if he ejaculated. He raped me, but I don't know. I wasn't there. Anyway, it's past the time, Carroll said, despite being repeatedly informed by Camerata that it was not. Her tone briefly changed as she repeated the excuse that experts have told her that it has been too long. It's never too long. Never. You can get DNA from cases that are very, 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 very old. Yeah, I bet she's worried now. Bet she didn't think about that, did she? Before she started lying about, oh, I kept the dress. Yeah. Carol claims that she was raped by the president in Bergdorf Goodman in New York City and that the extremely popular store just so happened to be empty. She described the incident by saying that Trump unzips his pants and forcing his fingers around my private area thrusts his penis halfway or completely, I'm not certain, inside of me. So she's not sure exactly when it was. There's nobody in the store. They didn't find anything on the security cameras from what I understand. Now, I would assume that they keep these tapes, but I'm pretty sure that I heard somebody say that they had not found it on the security camera. And she doesn't know if he ejaculated, and she doesn't know if he, was halfway or fully. Like, give me a break. Come on. Like, is your vagina, paralyzed? Because that's the only way you wouldn't know, really, if you're paralyzed from the waist down. Otherwise, I think you know. Carol claims she was raped by President. Okay, yeah. In an interview with MSNBC, Carol made the ridiculous claim that she did not want to bring charges against the president because it would be disrespectful to the women who are down on the border who are being raped around the clock down there without any protection. It would just be disrespectful, Carol said. Mine was 3 minutes. I can handle it. I can keep going. My life has gone on. I'm happy. Well, then why is she bringing it up? If she can handle it and her life went on and it was no big deal, then why is she bringing it up? Just saying. My life has gone on. I'm a happy woman, but for the women down there and for the women actually around the world and every culture, this is going on. So basically she's then really she's saying, well, it would be disrespectful to them, but then she goes on and disrespects them by saying, well, I can handle it, but for those, it's really hard for everybody else. For all the rest of the women, it's hard, but no, not for me. I just went on. She's a piece of work. Like, she really is out there. If she doesn't want it tried in the court of law, should she be allowed to freely smear someone's name in the court of public opinion? No, I don't think she should be. And to tell you the truth, I think that she should be made to DNA test that dress. Otherwise, I think Trump could sue her hinder parts off. And I think he should. I honestly don't even think he knows who she is. He says, I've never met this woman in my life. And I don't believe he has. I really don't. So there you go. Now let's go back to see if there's anything else that I absolutely positively must get to you tonight. Well, there's this. Democrats block assistance to immigrant holding facilities on the border, then blame Trump for no supplies. We know that is going on, and we had alluded to that a little bit earlier. And then we have, what is this? What is this? This might be something very, very fascinating. I don't remember what it is. Yes, I'm going to get to this, but not tonight, because that's a whole can of worms, and it's far too late right now to be getting into that. But it is about the mass deaths of Native women in Canada. Indeed, it has been genocide, and I'm going to get to that, but not tonight. All right, let's see what else is here. Why am I whispering? I don't know. All right, now this is a horrendous story. I'm not going to read it all, but I am going to let you know about it. Hospital tells 83-year-old pensioner who broke arm in 2 places she is too old for treatment, forcing apology from health chiefs. Now, I know that most people don't want to believe this goes on, but I see it here. Yeah, Canada. If you're old, you're probably not going to get the treatment you need. Not here, not where I am. It's awful. Absolutely horrendous. Anyway, Susan Halbert, 83, was turned away from Glasgow's new Victoria Hospital. She was taken there by paramedics after she fell at her home and broke her arm. Doctors told her they would not see her because she was over 65 years old. The pensioner was then taken to A&E, given a splint, and then sent home. Unbelievable. And it bothers me because I see this happening to the elderly people here. they're not treated well because they view it like, well, you know what, healthcare, we want to save the healthcare for the young. Well, and you're 70 years old, bugger off, you've had a good life, bye-bye. That's what it's like. And it really is. I know people don't believe me, and they question me on that all the time, and it makes me angry because I've seen it with my own eyes. I saw it with my own grandmother. She was 80, just slightly in her 80s, like low 80s, and she needed her kidneys shut down and she needed treatment. And they said, no, she's had a good life, and they weren't going to treat her. And my mom and I pitched a fit in the hospital. I mean, we pitched a fit, and they treated her. She got sent home, and she lived another 15 years. Now, who are they to deny her those 15 years? She paid into the system her whole life. But that's what they were prepared to do. Let her die. Oh, I don't know if it was a really bad kidney infection. I can't remember, but she would have died without treatment. I know that. And they were like, no, she's had a good life. Let her go home and die. Basically, that's what they said. So yes, this is happening wherever you've got, what do they call it? Universal health care or the state-sponsored health care. You're going to have that. You're going to have that. And all these people crying out for healthcare in the States don't realize what they're asking for. That's what you're going to get. And, it's great. If you're young, you'll get great care. But past 65, not so much. They'll be like, nah, we need to save this for the younger people. Yeah. So anyway, there you go. So I think that's it for tonight. There's lots more I could get into here, but I know that time is a-ticking. And so I'm going to leave it there for tonight. And then I will be back tomorrow. Yes, I will. Now, I may not be as early tomorrow night. I may be around this time tomorrow night because I do have a family dinner. So anyway, I will try to get it done as soon as I can and as early as I can, but it may be around this time tomorrow night as well. It depends on how long it takes me to research the stuff. So, all right. Well, you guys have a great night. Stay safe, stay well, stay blessed, and keep seeking truth because deception bites. All right. Me and my black cat will be back again tomorrow night. Good night.